go to Little Caesars today, and they Cameron just couldn't stare me straight. So I go to Little Caesars today, and they're definitely not hot and ready. I had to wait 7 to 10 minutes, and so I go back out to my car, and I look at my girlfriend, and I say, "Let's watch some TikTok." And I am stuck on like 4G or 3G or something like that because it wouldn't load. So a quick Google search tells me that the antenna for my phone is on the bottom left-hand corner of my phone. And I stuck it to my forehead. And the video started working immediately after touching my forehead. And I only did this because as a kid, when you're working with one of those AM/FM radios, when you get close to it, if you ever notice, the static went away, or if you touch the antenna, it cleared up.
I think that's only you, bud. I think you're emitting some kind of radio frequency. I'm convinced you're not a real human being now.
But here's the worst part about it. After about 5 minutes, because my hot and ready pizza was 7 to 10 minutes out, I gained this incredibly horrible headache. Right where I put my phone to my forehead. So my question for you guys today is, we hate dead air.
What's your question, Wyatt?
I want to hear your guys' personal testimonies of the most stupid thing you did that you thought at the time was A-okay, but then afterwards was like, this is backlash city.
Okay, before we go any further, I'm tearing up too,
bro.
dude.
I have tears. Holy
I
fuck.
fucking love you so much,
God
Wyatt.
damn it.
Literally, I couldn't even hold it after, so I went to Little Caesars today. Okay, for a tiny bit of BTS,
fuck, man.
Wyatt, before this episode, was like, guys, I got something.
I got something. I got a story.
And holy shit, that did not disappoint.
No,
I hope you
dude,
know.
that was perfect.
Wyatt, okay, I hope you know how much people fucking love you.
Yes,
You're the
dude.
only person that
You're
can do that, by the way.
what?
You're the only person that would be able to do that, and everyone knows it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Dude, at first I was like, is he like telling like another comedian's joke? Like, is this like a setup to something? But no, this is just
fully
real.
original.
Dude, I hope you understand. I don't think you ever will fully understand, Wyatt, how
Yeah,
much
because
people...
you're autistic as shit.
I hope you understand for real that people
real.
adore you.
Dude, absolutely.
Like, I probably get more comments about you than I do about things that me and Josh said. And it's just with your little interjections.
dude,
So,
I love you.
you're a fucking treasure.
Absolutely. You're a fucking gem.
So, I don't know. you really sprang this one on us.
I do have one. Like, and it's
Oh,
not,
you know. Okay.
yeah, it's not so much that I thought it was a good idea. It's just like I was a fucking idiot. And so I remember when I was younger, we had like an old van that we would go out and we'd go out into the hills, me and my dad and like some friends and whatever, and we'd go hang out. And it had one of those like cigarette lighters, you know.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Absolutely. And I remember because obviously I like pushed it in and I'm like, that's interesting. And like I wasn't young at the time. I was like, I don't know, I was like 12. So like I was old enough to know better. And it popped out and I pulled it out and I saw how red it was and I just went put my finger right on it. And I held it there for a couple seconds and I was like, oh, that hurts. And my dad still to this day is like, I wanted to be so mad at you. But the fucking puff of smoke that came off of my finger, he just started laughing so damn hard. And I was like, oh, well, that didn't feel good. And I just put it back into the cigarette lighter.
I mean, as a parent, what can you do whenever it comes to something like that? You know, like because being mad doesn't change the fact that it just happened. So you might as well just.
Well,
laugh.
you turn to him and you say, well, what did we learn?
Yeah, I think you did learn your lesson after that.
I've never touched another cigarette lighter.
Yeah, fuck. Okay, so I don't have like an amazing example off the top of my head. Okay, I will tell you that 100%. I probably have several. I think we all do. but I do have an anecdote that I wanted to share that kind of lines up with this. So I think we might just be on the same wavelength right now. The radio frequency that your skull's emitting, it got to my brain. So the other day, God damn it. This is one of those moments where I'm just like, no, this was fucking stupid anyway.
Yeah.
But I think you'll see where I'm coming from. God damn it. Okay. So I was at work the other day. And
Oh, so this was recent.
yeah, relatively.
Okay.
Like within the month.
Okay.
And I had just gone into the restroom. I just quickly relieved myself. I do not poop in public places. That's
Shy
my
pooper?
thing. Not shy pooper, because it's like a single person bathroom.
That's a
Germs.
hygiene thing for sure.
Germs. That's
Oh,
literally it.
I will drop a deuce anywhere, bro.
I know. We
If
met
it's
up.
gotta go, it's gotta go.
Yeah, I think we have to have this conversation.
We met up in public earlier, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I was pooping."
That is true.
Literally.
That is true.
But yeah, no, it's just I don't like the idea because
Anyway.
then like
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
your butt cheeks, right? Because I'm not saying I'm making contact with
Okay.
anything but the toilet seat. My butt cheeks are going back in my nice clean underwear.
Little bit of a tangent.
Gross.
I know
Okay.
it grosses people out whenever they sit on like the toilet and it's warm.
That's better.
It's a little cozy.
Fuck off.
It's a little cozy.
I
It's
have
the most disturbing thing that ever
It's a
happened.
little cozy, man.
I-
Like that literally happened
I
to me
can't
today.
Go to the bathroom
Well,
if I do that.
Okay, so it didn't happen to me in the bathroom, but literally I was at work today, and one of my coworkers was in there, and they were sitting down. And I was like, "Cool, here, let me sit there. I got to do some stuff." And he hopped up, and I sat
gotta
down.
do some stuff
It was on a computer. Shut up.
in the bathroom.
No, I said it wasn't in the bathroom. It was in the office. It was work.
Okay,
all right,
okay.
I was working, and he hopped up, and I sat down, and I was like, "Wow, this is warm. Like this is way cozier." Like,
That's vastly different than a fucking toilet seat.
and see, I guess I don't really.
100%.
I guess I don't really see it that different. But like, yeah, I don't know. I hate cold toilet seats.
yeah,
I,
I,
would
do
prefer
too.
them
I don't.
over the warmth of a stranger.
I agree. The warmth of a stranger. That's my autobiography.
I don't know. It kind of. I don't really have a problem with it. I'm kind of like, you know.
I despise that.
Yeah.
And before we get any further, because I will tell my story, you guys all heard Wyatt's voice change again. That's Gage.
Hi, Gage.
Still here, you can't get rid of me.
He's still
Hi.
here. Ooh, I like that sound effect.
Dude, we're gonna have to utilize that more.
Yeah,
'Kay.
absolutely. We're
Anyway.
gonna do that one more time, just because I really like that.
He's still here.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had peed. Right. There's no urinal in this bathroom that we're talking about because it's a one-person bathroom.
It's made for shitting.
I would like a urinal installed in my home in the future. That's on the agenda, but that's neither here nor there. We're gonna get to that later.
That needs to be a whole conversation.
That's a whole bag of fish that we're opening up.
That is a whole bag of fish.
Yes. Anyway, any hoodly who, I was done urinating, right? And there's a little bit of splashback on that toilet seat, right? And I was like, that's gross, that's yucky, and I'm not the type of person that leaves that for the next person to deal with, right? But we didn't have any toilet paper, right? And that's not a problem. Like, I can go and replace that since I fucking work there. But I am absolutely still going to clean this up, and I'd rather not have someone else walk in while there's still splashback on the toilet seat, right? So I just grabbed like a paper towel, 2 paper towels. It was not a large amount of paper towels, is what I'm getting at. And I, without thinking, like it's almost reflexive, right? I wipe off the toilet seat, and then I put them in the
Yep.
toilet.
Good
yeah,
job.
I knew that was
Yep.
gonna happen.
Yep. And like it's just reflexive because it's like you do the circular motion, then you just release, right? And
You hadn't flushed yet, had you?
I don't think I had at this point,
Yeah,
right? But
feels
I was
bad.
like, yeah, I gotta fucking flush this toilet, right? And I'm not
Yeah.
fishing this out. Like that's just, it's not worth anything to me. Like I'm not.
You're gonna
Your
just
fishing it out.
clog-
plumbing
yeah.
maybe.
You're just gonna clog the toilet.
Well,
at
I'm kind
work.
of calling myself out right now, and there's a I guess a conclusion to this because I will always own up to the stupid shit that I do, right? But it's also about context. So I end up flushing it on accident, and it doesn't clog, right? Like the toilet does not clog. Excuse me, sorry, but the toilet doesn't clog. I exit, and I think, oh, I will still plunge it just to make sure that everything is working properly, right? And because you can still, like, just because of the speed at which the toilet flushes, you can still see part of the paper towel, but it wasn't clogged. There was no, like, overflow or anything like that. But I got caught up because I was washing my hands, and then I had to go deal with like one other thing. At this point, after it was already cleaned, I was like, it's not clogged, like it's not giving me any problems. So I don't forget about it, but it's in the back of my mind for like 10 minutes, right? And I believe someone else uses the restroom in this time frame, right? And I'm like, oh shit, I need to go take care of this. And then one of my coworkers, who I love, like he's a great guy, but he's notorious for getting aggravated quickly. And he will be the first to tell everyone this, right? Like he will allow things to put him in a very bad mood very quickly. And I decided to pick my battles that day. So he went in there and he was like, he came out kind of like fuming, right? Not like huffing or anything like that. Like he was not visibly angry unless you know his body language. But he's like, dude. And I'm in the break room at this point. He's like, dude. And I'm like, yeah. Someone fucking clogged the toilet.
Oh, no.
And you motherfucker.
And like I said, I'm the type to own up to this shit. Because here I am doing it on the fucking internet right now. He knows who he is if he listens to this. But it's also the advantage because I know my coworkers don't want to fucking listen to me after I get off work with them. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll tell this story. It's fine. But he's like, someone fucking clogged the toilet. And I was like, huh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, oh
what an asshole.
Yeah, I was like, oh, dude, that's super fucking lame. Because at that point, my thought process is, the only thing I'm going to do by owning up to this is make him more upset, and it's going to be directed towards me, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be like, because, like I said, I was planning on getting to it. Like, it wasn't even something that I was trying to put off actively. Yeah. It was just something that happened to get interfered with by other parties, right? So I was like, there's literally no winning for me in this situation. I'm just gonna play this one off.
Yeah.
You know? And like I said, it was just dumb from the beginning because it was not something that should have occurred, and if I was really thinking about it, I would have put those paper towels in the fucking trash, right? Like, that's it. Like, they were not sopping wet from the urine that was on the toilet seat, so I could have put them in the trash. It would have been totally fine. But I picked my battle that day, and I have actually been itching to tell that story ever since, just because that is such a little thing to me, right? It's such a little thing in general.
Yeah.
Because of the way my anxiety works, I'm like, if I don't tell this story, I'm going to feel guilty for the rest of my life.
I want to keep it real with you.
Okay, tell me.
You should have just fished it out of the piss. You can wash your hands. Unless it wasn't just piss.
It was, like I said.
Yeah, you should just...
Not worth it to me. Like, if I could have found gloves, which I know
Well, what did you do? Did
have,
you fucking plunge it and unclog it?
Like I said, he got to it first.
Oh, he did it.
Yes, he like literally.
Oh, I misunderstood.
Yeah. So he was the one. He was kind of like huffing, right?
Yeah.
It was not a big mess, and it was literally like the most minor of inconveniences. That's why I didn't feel bad. Like, it's not like, oh, someone literally left a safe open and now all of our money's gone, you know?
Right.
Like, that's shit that you own up to. But
Right.
something like this, I'm like, the only thing it's going to do is make him mad at me directly. He's going to be the same level of mad because that's how his personality is.
Yeah.
So there's no winning for me. So I say, because all I've done, like, I also
who did that.
I also reversed the roles, and I said, if I was in that position, I would be minorly inconvenienced, right? Where all I have to do is plunge a fucking toilet. And it's not fun. I'm not saying it's something that I want to do, but it's such a minor inconvenience that I'm gonna let him live with this one, I think, you know? But it does not mean that
I hope he listens to this podcast.
I do too. Like, trust me, if I felt comfortable telling him directly in a way that I knew wouldn't make him upset, I would. You know?
Honestly, I think it would be so much funnier just picturing this guy. He's like, I wonder what their newest episode sounds like. And then we get to this point. He's like, I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
Look, excuse me. God, fuck. I need to take a Mucinex or something. Mucinex sponsor.
Again.
Yeah, no. I just picked my battles that day.
That's
but
fair.
At the same time, another big circumstance change would be if it was like a disgusting, overflowing, clogged toilet that was like just shit pouring out everywhere. It was literally already flushed. And this is the part that I have to reiterate as well. It was already flushed. It was literally a clear toilet. Like, the water was clear, right? It was just a tiny bit of like paper towel still sticking out.
Yeah.
That's all it clogged. So it wasn't like a mess.
Yeah.
Right. So minor inconvenience, and I had to take that L because trust me, I punished myself enough for that one. That's the thing. I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone to tell me that was fucked up. I
wasn't that
have
bad.
lost.
It's
about,
not that bad.
I've lost about 36 hours of sleep since it happened. No, it's not that bad. But I did want to tell the story because that is why we have this pod. I
Man,
like to be
This
open.
is our confessional booth.
I love it.
That's
It's
what
less
this is.
sexy.
Less sexy or more sexy, depending on what you're into.
Yeah. I don't think I have any other stupid stories. I touched an electric fence once, but I didn't know. Like, I feel like everyone
I
has
feel like
done
I've
that.
done
Like
something like that.
unintentionally, where you just kind of lean up against like a fence post or like a fence line, and it turns out to be electrified. You're like, ooh,
No, I used to do that a couple times. Like I would be like, "Oh, this feels, whoa, oh, that kind of hurt."
I
I
fully
know, 'cause
wrapped
what I used to
my hands
do.
around it whenever I did it.
No, actually, I knew there was something that I did that was similar like that. And what I would do is like in my kitchen growing up, I had my refrigerator and my microwave, and they were within arm's reach of each other. And so sometimes what I would do is I would like touch the top of it, like touch the top of both of them, and they'd shock me. And
Huh.
yeah, so I would just sit there doing that sometimes.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was a very interesting child. Because apparently, I don't remember this. I would run headfirst into my front door and just repeatedly.
Oh, so I haven't told this story. I've told you this story, but I have not told it on pod.
I have a similar story.
Yeah.
Josh.
Okay. So
Yeah.
maybe first of all, there's a reason why you don't remember it.
Yeah, see, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Like, yeah, it makes sense that I don't remember.
So this is something that I very clearly remember. This is why I was afraid whenever we did the psychopath test that I would be more of a psychopath, because as a kid, I was probably like 7 or 8 at this point. I realized that I had never had a bloody nose.
Oh,
right?
you have told me the story.
Yeah. And I was like, I wonder what that feels like. So without saying a word to anyone, I ran headfirst into just a wall in my house. Like I was surrounded by my family, and they were like, "Why'd you do that?" And I was like, "I just wanted to know what it felt like to have a bloody nose."
And like, well, what did you learn?
And I did give myself a bloody nose too. Like that was the funny part. Is that first try, I gave myself a bloody nose. Like
Yeah, do you think you would have gone up and tried again if you didn't give yourself a bloody nose the first time?
that's something that I think about often.
Yeah.
Because the world will never know, you know?
Well, it doesn't need to know. You did it the first time.
Yeah. I do wonder how many times I would have slammed myself against the wall if it didn't work the first time, though. You know, like at what point would I have given up and be like, it's a wash?
Well, you're pretty tenacious, so like,
You kind of spring back as a kid too.
Dude,
yeah, it's way different.
Dude, absolutely. But it is funny, like, obviously there was no other damage. I don't think I've ever broken my nose, and I don't think that did break my nose, but I gave myself a bloody nose first try, you know? I was just
Yeah,
like, wow, that
that's
works
pretty
really
good.
well to my advantage.
So
Okay.
kind of
wait,
speaking.
wait. Is this relating to my story or Josh's story? Or
This
both?
is
It's kinda
relating
both.
into running headfirst into things.
Yeah,
because children
yeah.
are dumb, and
I mean-
I am a child at this story.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Go for it.
So, I believe, I was at my aunt's house, and she has a giant love sack. So everyone here knows what a love
I
sack
got one
is,
of those too. Yeah, I got one.
Is that a
They're-
brand
they're
sponsor?
awesome.
Love
No,
Sack
it's-
sponsor?
It's my
And
ball sack.
she has the love sack that is down in like a basement area that's below just a set of stairs. So
Wait, hold up, pause real quick. I guess I don't know what a love sack is.
it's
What-
like a big bean bag.
Like-
okay,
Like oversized.
so
it's
it's
like,
like
huge, big,
a beanbag chair.
but
Nope, no.
massive.
Like think like if you're thinking beanbag chair, one that has like back support, no, just like literally a bean bag.
Yeah.
and it's just massive.
Yep.
Yeah, huge.
Okay.
Like
So
it's
that's
still
a love sack.
supportive, but it doesn't have like an arch that indicates like a chair of any kind.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I decided it would be fun to jump into this thing down the stairs. We didn't start very high. We started about 2 steps. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty fun. We went up to 5 steps very quickly. And I was hitting it pretty hard. And I was like, well, I'm making the jump pretty easily. So I go to the top of the stairs, full sprinting.
There's a lot of distance that you have to cover in order to clear a set of stairs.
It was more than 10
Yeah.
steps. I was
Okay, I was gonna
hauling.
ask. I was gonna ask how many steps it was.
You had to
And
do the fucking Pythagorean theorem in your head to get past those
Exactly.
stairs.
there was
Yeah.
kind of like a top to the stairs too.
So
So,
you
I
could-
had
so
to
you had to
dive.
dive. Yeah, yeah,
It wasn't
yeah,
just
yeah.
like a jump feet. It was head dive. So I proceed to head dive over 10 steps of stairs into this love sack, and my legs curl like a scorpion.
You scorpion.
I scorpioned at the bottom.
Oh, God.
Knocking the wind. And my mom hears this. Kaboom, and she sprints. And she just sees me staring there, red face, holding my stomach. She's like, what did this child just do? How did he kill himself? What is happening?
No, can I just say that I think that's one of the funniest fucking things ever is when people knock the wind out of themselves. I think I'm gonna die.
Dude,
It feels like you're dying.
it's actually insane how that does.
fucking
Like,
love it.
whenever you talk about that, like, you don't realize how bad that sensation feels because you don't feel it very often.
Because
in your
when you
day-to-day.
can't breathe, it's awful. But,
Instant
like,
panic. Even if you don't hurt, it's instant panic.
oh my god.
Yeah, but dude,
I want to watch videos. We need to watch videos of people knocking the wind out of themselves.
So-
I want to watch a compilation of it.
I would like to add to Wyatt's story. My dumbest story is my most expensive one.
We got we have a few of these. Okay, I think I might have a few more to share, but I want to hear yours first.
So
At this point, we're just passing the talking stick at like the group therapy meeting.
Apparently.
We're all idiots.
I
Yes.
was 16. I had just gotten my license in my car. And Cameron knows this about me. I refuse to text and drive or be on the phone and
good.
drive.
Good for you.
It's one of those things that I just refuse to do.
No, that's smart. I think that's wise.
And the reason is because when I was 16, I was at our local college and my buddies were at the gym and they were like, hey, we're at the gym. I was like, I don't know where that is. So I look at my phone to text and be like, where am I going? I'm lost.
So you're already in, just for a visual for me and Josh. You're in like the college.
I'm on the
parking lot
college
already.
campus already.
Oh, okay. I already know where this is going then.
And I look down for, I swear, 2 seconds and somehow mount a curb that's just rocks behind it. And I just look up and I'm inside the rocks. I'm not even close. Just go in the rocks. And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
well, I got to get out of this situation. This is bad. So I instantly reverse. Back out of it into a parking spot. And I'm like, that was a lot of screeching. I hope I didn't ruin the car.
It's a
And
lot
I
of
get out.
scraping noises.
And my tire's flat. It was flat when I hit the rocks, and then you see the scraping marks of my rim and tire all the way to the parking spot. So I'm at this point panicking, because as you do when you're breaking things that are expensive, you're like, I'm just going to call my parents because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Especially as a teenager, you're just
Yeah.
like, well, fuck.
Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm sorry, I mounted the curb, my tire popped, and
Oh,
I broke my car.
That's way more honest than I probably would have been. I would have been like, I got a flat. I don't know what happened. I'd like, what do I do?
I don't think you can plead the fifth on the gravel that's stuck on the
There was
undercarriage
proof
of that car. Yeah.
there
that
was
led
proof.
to my car.
Okay, fair enough.
And so my dad shows up and he's like, did you not just think to stop? And I was like, no. I thought I would just back up.
Dude.
I didn't think it was that bad.
That's also real though. Like whenever you're a new driver, you're like, oh, this is instantly fixable.
Yeah.
Instead of stopping, I'm just going
Stop.
to do the action that I just did in reverse.
So I
Yeah.
ended up spending about $150 on the tire
Yep.
and about $200 on the rim. So that
Yep.
was a very fun learning lesson.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought you were going to say it was more expensive than that.
Yeah.
Because I've had non-accident related vehicle problems that have been like sub $1,000. You know, like
So,
$900.
And actually,
So I got away pretty luckily. I do
yeah,
think.
You
absolutely.
did.
Because
still very funny though. You're like, did you not just think to stop? I can hear your father saying that. It's very funny.
I don't think I've met your dad. But actually, talking about like vehicle like damage and stuff, because this is something I haven't talked about yet. Like one of our one of our last. I don't know if we were recording or if we were just hanging out. I think it was I'm not too sure. But regardless, I was driving home really late. I hit a deer the other day. Yeah, so luckily everything's fine. Like it's not really that interesting of a story. However, all cosmetic damage, no real damage, anything. Car still runs fine, everything. I went and got a quote on how much it would be to fix, and for just cosmetics, $8,000.
Get a life. Where did you go?
Fucking $1,000.
Get a second quote, my guy. God damn.
That's okay. I'm not gonna have to pay any of it, but yeah, $8,000 to replace everything.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because it like fucked up the bumpers. It fucked up like Yeah, I don't know. It's just stupid as fuck.
You drive a relatively like mid-sized car too,
Yeah.
so it's good it wasn't any smaller.
Absolutely.
Because okay, so this is not common in all areas of the country, right?
True.
Because we don't live in a large city, so there are some outskirts where like deer will just cross the street.
Yep.
And they will fuck your shit
Dude.
up. You do not have to be going fast if you are going like 30 miles an hour,
Which
is
I think
probably
was how fast I was
Yeah.
going. Maybe a little slower.
you can absolutely get rammed by a deer, and
Yep.
even if it's like the side of your car, like they're not going to go through your windshield and kick you to death or anything, it's still gonna fuck up your car.
I fucking hate deer. So, like, well, okay. Like,
Very strong vendetta against deer.
okay, so I actually feel kind of bad about this because, like, I hit the deer. It didn't die or anything, and I hit, like, the back half of it. So I hit its back leg, and it just kind of, like, ran off. And I was like, man, I hope that fucking deer dies. Like, God, I didn't even kill the deer. Oh, I hope you can't survive, and I hope you get eaten by a wolf or something.
That's a lot of malice.
Yeah,
for a
I've-
deer that did not mean to deal damage to your car. The
I-
deer has no concept of money.
And that just makes it so much worse because I hate stupid things. And it's just so goddamn stupid, and it pissed me off.
Stupid is relative too, you know, because the event itself was probably a little dumb, but at the same time, like the deer doesn't fucking know, but that doesn't make it stupid. It's just doing deer things.
I've gotten through it, and like,
I'm so proud of
like,
you. Did you go to your fucking group counseling
Yeah,
for the
I did,
deer
actually.
dent
Yeah,
in your car?
Like, but yeah, so it's still fucking stupid. Like, yeah, the deer's dumb, and deer are very stupid animals.
I disagree. It's all relative. I think we're all just stupid. It's
No.
just doing deer things.
See, you're so much nicer than
It wasn't
me.
a
But like,
mentally
obviously,
disabled deer that you know of. You know?
regardless, like, I don't hope for any malice on that deer, but literally the entire way home, I was like, the fucking deer didn't even die. Like, God, I wish it would at least died.
I got nothing out of this.
Yeah, except a broken fucking car.
So
Yeah.
Are my
Goodness,
headphones
I'm
just
a little
loud?
too
Yeah, I
close.
feel like
Yeah.
everything's.
I think your headphones are just
everything's
a little
scaring me. Whenever
Yeah.
someone starts talking, I'm like, oh, who said that?
yeah, well, I sounded loud to myself, but then I'm not even peeking. so
Regardless.
Doesn't even matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Just producer things.
Yeah,
Thanks,
just
Wyatt.
produce things. Josh is over here like cosmetics on my car is gonna cost $8,000. I'm over here like, bro, I'm looking to sell my car for $8,000. Like the
That's how it be.
whole.
That's real shit.
Yeah.
I
Because
know.
cars depreciate in general. You know,
Yeah.
and it's just silly. Like dude, that's how money's made up again because the whole thing with cars is that as soon as you drive it off the lot and it's yours, it loses half its value or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Retarded. Am I allowed to
There's
say that?
no. Well, you did.
That's
so.
dumb
It is.
with an R.
Yeah, definitely the dumbest things to invest in.
yeah, but I'm still gonna buy a brand new car.
But-
Okay,
oh,
anyway,
yeah,
I wouldn't.
definitely. I did have an extra little story. Since we were telling childhood stupid stories.
okay, I want to hear yours, and then I actually have a
Nice.
vehicle-related one, so I'm excited.
So, I was really young, like 10, I think. My grandparents were having some hard times, so my mom went to take care of them, and we ended up staying on my uncle's ranch. And on his ranch, he had his mother-in-law, and they're a house like quarter of a mile away, and she had like 12, 15-foot trees.
Wyatt,
What?
was it Ram Ranch?
No, it wasn't.
Every time that I get Ram Ranch out of my head, you find a way to bring it back. I'm like, oh, I haven't thought about. I gotta like the accident counters at work. It's been like X amount of days since an accident has occurred. It's been 0 days since I've thought about Ram Ranch.
Wyatt, how many cowboys were on the ranch?
Don't answer that. Okay, just continue.
Like
Sorry,
3.
don't let them derail you.
There's more girls on that ranch. It was an interesting time.
How many girls?
Like 7 or 8.
8 naked cowgirls.
Were these all family members?
On Ram Ranch.
This is becoming really
I knew it.
disgusting.
I knew
And
it.
one old lady.
Okay, go ahead.
But she tells so what reiterated this story to me, and I had forgotten about it because you're young. At my cousin's wedding, I walk up to his mother-in-law, and she says, oh, "You're Wyatt." She looks over to her friend and she says, "Do you see this young man? Climbed up this tree. It was so tall, and he had an umbrella."
I already know where this is
no.
going.
And here I am. I jump out of this tree, 12 or 15 feet off of the ground with an umbrella. I open it up.
How'd that work out?
I will tell you, now that I'm older and now that I understand how physics work, it didn't work well. But at the time,
But at the time, I didn't understand physics, so I floated all the way down.
my aunt comes out because I had done a controlled test. I had jumped out of the tree.
Wait, okay, you're not helping your case because you are literally a child and you're like, oh, an umbrella. But then you're like, I'm going to do a control.
To make sure.
That's even goofier.
And
where
then-
you're like, I have to measure the differences
Yep,
that the umbrella will
exactly.
make
So-
in my fall.
So I counted the first time, and then I hit the ground. And then the second time, I climb up there again, and my aunt sees me climbing up there again, and I jump again. And this time, she runs out. She thinks that I'm hurt. I just tumble and fall to the ground with the umbrella. And she comes out there, and she's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And this is the part I told you I had forgotten it, but she looks
because of like trauma, like head trauma.
from sticking the cell phone to my forehead.
Yeah, that was it.
yeah,
He remembered this until he stuck his phone to his forehead, and then he forgets half of his life.
Wow. So you actually recently gave yourself amnesia. Then you
Yeah.
probably are gonna like develop like a brain tumor now or some shit.
No, but she so my uncle's mother-in-law is telling this story, and this is the part that I didn't remember anything like that. She looks over at her friend and she says, "And when I asked him, 'Are you okay?' You know what he says? It worked."
It broke the fall a little bit.
Yeah, but like she's like, and he tells me about how he counted the first time and how he was like a half a second off the second.
Dude, you're a fucking modern day Isaac Newton.
You really are.
Straight up. You are a
See,
pioneer in our time.
I
Elon
liked-
Musk who?
Who?
Who? We're going to go to space. We're going to start space Y. Yeah, you
Yep.
knew. You know. Space Y. Wyatt.
Because we can.
No, space Wyatt is the Y is the capital letter though. And then in parentheses.
PARTY, because I gotta.
Very nice. Wow, haven't heard that in a very long time. Probably since like 5th grade. Okay.
It's been a while since I've watched
So
it.
you are a pioneer, and I
You
commend your contributions to science. I
Wright
think-
Brothers who?
I think we need to more like Wrong Brothers.
Yeah. What? More like Left Brothers.
Wayo. I think we need to campaign to get you a Nobel Prize in the field of science. But before we get there, I'm going to tell you about my stupid car accident. Okay. And this one, I will say, like, I'll own this shit, and it was absolutely my fault for being a stupid dingus who just got their license, right? But at the same time, there were circumstances out of my control, but if I had known better, if I was a more experienced driver, I could have avoided those factors, right? So I was, probably 16, 17. I had been driving for a minute, okay? But I had my mother's car, which was a newer car to mine, and I decided after work to take 2 of my coworkers out. I was like, let's just go for a little ride, right? Let's just hang out, listen to music, whatever. And we went up into like a more upscale neighborhood, right? But they have some gravel roads up there. And sometimes the gravel travels to pavement, right? And I find myself taking a turn after hitting a stop sign too. Like I fully stopped, but my mother's car, which I didn't realize at the time, has significantly better acceleration than mine. Right?
Quicker.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I was still driving my mother's car like my own, just as far as like handling the gas pedal. And this gravel was on pavement at the time. Like I was not on a dirt road completely. And I took this turn a tiny bit too fast. It was a very sharp turn too. It was like a full 90, right? But I took this turn a bit too fast.
Were you turning left or right?
I was turning left.
Okay.
And my back tires spun out, right? And I just tried to overcorrect like you do whenever you're a new driver.
Yeah,
right?
you freak out.
Where you don't like let it go into it and then you just gently brake, right? Like you're told to. You try to overcorrect, so you turn the steering wheel the exact opposite direction.
Yep. And then,
We ended up 90 degrees in a ditch. Like fully to the side. Like it was one of those moments where we all kind of like looked at each other to make sure that we weren't injured, because whenever you're 90 degrees in a vehicle, which is an odd experience if you've never had that, you kind of feel like someone should be hurt more than they are, you know? Like,
vehicles are way safer nowadays than they used to be.
yeah, and it was not like it was a shallow ditch, right? It was still obviously large enough to engulf most of my car to where it would keep us at a 90 regardless of what we tried to do to get it out. So we literally had to all climb out of the front driver's seat, and we luckily my family is very supportive. I didn't feel bad about telling them. But I beat myself up over that one for a very long time.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those things where, like, I wasn't being stupid. I wasn't drinking.
It's just
like
a lack of experience.
Yeah, and, like, it's a learning experience as well. You
Absolutely.
know? Because there was almost nothing that could have been done to prevent that, you know, other than experience. But that comes with life. That comes with
exactly.
time. And it was super lame. But
how did your parents react to that?
My family didn't even care. Like,
They're
honestly,
like, hey, we're so glad that you're okay. And
yeah.
like,
Well, my family's always just super level-headed. Like,
yeah.
my
you have
mother,
a great family.
dude. I'm telling you, like, that's where I like to think I get my best qualities, especially from my mother, because my mother, I called her immediately, and I was like, hey, what should I do? You know, and she was like, oh yeah, just get someone out there. We'll be out there as well. And they came and helped us all out. And then my father at the time, this is super goofy. He had recently retired. My father's not old. He's already fucking retired. I hate that man.
Good for him.
He's quite an interesting man. We need to get him on the pod.
Yeah, we should. I think he'd be happy to be on.
Yeah, but he had recently retired, if I'm not mistaken, and he was actually working for his friend's tow truck company.
Oh,
So he just called the dude out.
fuck you. I
Yeah.
hate you.
I was like, wow, so serendipitous.
You're
But
so, dude, I swear, like, if there's ever anybody in this world that I look at and I'm just like, man, shit just really works out. Like, shit just really works out for this guy. Like, how does that happen? Like, it's you. Like, I swear, shit just works out for you.
I tell everyone that whoever made like my avatar's character sheet whenever they were creating me, they put all of my points into luck.
Absolutely.
And I keep
And
getting,
charisma.
I keep getting. Oh, thank you. And then intelligence is about a 2, but speech is about a 45.
That's it.
Yeah, but no, I just keep rolling nat 20s for all the D&D nerds out there on my luck rolls
Apparently.
for real.
Damn.
Because I don't even know. It's just so fucking funny. It's like, I don't remember exactly if my dad had already quit the tow truck company at this point, but regardless, he literally called the dude up and they had us taken care of within the hour.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Did it fuck up the car?
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
I think I told Wyatt this earlier, but ever since then, it's made this god awful rattling noise. So
Oh,
if
you
I-
guys still have it?
Yeah, absolutely. We got it fixed. It
Oh.
the damage that would cause any, I guess, impairment to driving is all fixed, but it still makes this awful rattling. So if I have any mechanics out there listening, tell me what the fuck is going on, because the car is fine and it doesn't seem to be damaging it any further.
It
but
makes a
never-
noise like
Yeah, please give me some demonstrations on what it sounds like. But yeah, no, it's weird because we've actually gotten it fixed. They were like, oh, it's like a cracked rim or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
I don't know shit about cars.
We've talked about this off pod many a time.
Yeah,
neither
like-
of us really do. But regardless, they've technically fixed the issue, whatever it may be, but it's come back, right? So it doesn't seem to be causing any damage to the car itself or like affecting anything but like the way it handles.
It's because you didn't go to the right mechanic that charges you like $8,000.
I mean, we got a personal mechanic, you know. Like that's the
Well,
nice part about living in a smaller
it's
ish
true.
town is that my family's got the hookups in certain spots. So.
yeah.
Yeah, no complaints. But at the same time, we still don't know what the fuck's going on with it. Literally, the mechanic called my mother the other day and was like, "Hey, so your car's possessed?" Because it like whenever they even just turn it on, like roll over the engine, turn over the engine, same thing.
Turnover.
Turnover.
Yeah, that's the term.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I love a good cherry turnover. Speaking of, have you ever had turnovers? They're a delicious pastry. Anyway, whenever the engine turns over, it automatically starts rattling. Doesn't seem to be damaging the engine or anything. But he's like, yeah, no, this shit sounds bad. So
It sounds bad, but it's like not
other than
bad.
that, yeah, it just handles a little bit worse, but it doesn't seem to be affecting like drivetrain or anything like that. So I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
Yeah, without going too deep into that. Yeah, so that
Because
was
we can't, because we don't know.
because we
Where's the
I mean,
transistor?
we could. Where's the flux capacitor in a
Yeah.
normal car? I only know where it is in Back to the Future.
A DeLorean.
Yeah,
I did know a DeLorean.
yeah, exactly. We know some cars, but the fake ones, or I guess they're real. But
I was gonna say
Yeah.
the DeLorean
DeLorean's
is
a real
definitely
car.
a real car.
yeah, you know what I mean. They don't have flux capacitors, to my knowledge.
You're probably right, but I don't.
Yeah,
don't know enough.
Yeah,
You
don't know
can't
enough
prove that
to
because I'm
dispute it.
pretty sure there is a car that has a flux capacitor like built into it.
Oh, that makes you go back in time.
I mean, it doesn't do that, but it is a flux capacitor because I mean, it
not.
really.
What does that even mean?
It's
What do you
made up.
mean?
It's gobbledygook.
What is a flux capacitor?
It makes you go back in time.
It is not made up.
a flux capacitor? What does
See-
it really do?
He's looking it up,
Oh, he's
but like I was
Googling
like, I'm pretty sure that like there are vehicles out there that have flux capacitors, and I'm pretty sure they named it that after the movie because it's hilarious. It's pretty funny.
Cars are just confusing.
See, I'm not very mechanically well, what would the word for
Inclined, yeah.
it is mechanically inclined
Yeah.
to be good at it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I'm not very mechanically inclined. So like yeah, looking at like machines and like understanding how it works, definitely not my strong suit. Like so here's my thing. And this I mean I tout myself pretty high for this. I can change my oil. I can change a tire.
Big
you know,
deal.
I can do stuff. I can change my air filter. You know, I can fill the fluids, all that stuff. You know, I can do my maintenance and stuff. I don't always. Sometimes I will.
I mean, you're already further than I am.
Right. You know, as I feel like so for I'm gonna maybe this will sound bad, but like I kind of have the same mentality with vehicles as I do with math, and it is understand the basics and understand the stuff that you need to do regularly, you know, and you'll be fine. You leave the more specialized knowledge for the people who like you do it for a living.
I agree. I will not associate with someone who has like really in-depth knowledge of cars because most of those people, not all of you, shout out to the good ones. Most of those people,
Wyatt knows a lot about cars.
most of the car dudes, quote unquote, they're abysmal, right?
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
shitty. And also, at what point does it stop benefiting you, right? Like to know that much about cars, and if you're into it, no shame whatsoever. But whenever you're just like, oh yeah, the fucking flux capacitor's got a tightness on the fucking fluids that's going into the
Counterpoint.
piston, and I'm like, what? Why?
I have a
Why do I need to
counterpoint.
know this?
I just have a counterpoint. Having more knowledge in your brain is never like non advantational.
Nope, advantageous.
Advantageous. Thank
Yes.
you.
But
Oh my
what
God.
information did you give up to learn that? Because you can't have
Hey,
that
man,
much information.
It doesn't matter.
It's
Like again, like you don't stop you don't like replace knowledge until you're old, okay? Like we're still learning stuff in the age that we are. And if you want to learn a lot about cars, then cool, do that. But having more knowledge in your brain is never a detrimental thing. Go ahead,
It's true.
Wyatt.
Before Wyatt tells us what a flux capacitor is, I just think of the intricacies of a car and car parts like I do a woman's body. I just hit it until it works. Thank you, Wyatt.
So
Mm.
I was wrong. Flux capacitors don't exist.
Yeah,
And
I
excuse
fucking-
me,
Oh,
wait
okay.
a second. In the way that
Back
they're
to the
made out in the
Future.
movie.
Yeah.
Well, obviously.
Wow, are you telling
Jo-
me we
Josh was
can't
right.
go back in time?
But
Say that again. Say that last part again.
Josh was right.
Huh.
He likes
Wait,
hearing
let me
it.
put my ear to the microphone.
I was
Cameron,
right.
that's not going to help any.
What? I can't hear you.
I
Okay,
swear,
go
He
ahead.
just keeps sticking his ear up. to the
Okay, go
microphone.
ahead.
He's looking for who asked.
Well, we actually asked earlier. We were talking about flux capacitors
Damn it.
like just a couple minutes
Damn it,
ago.
that was
I don't
good,
know-
Gage. I still like that.
I
That
don't
was
know
good.
if you were here.
So, flux capacitor is a theoretical.
Oh my god! So it's
It's-
not. Is it a part in a car, Wyatt?
No.
Thank you. That's
Well,
all I needed to hear. It's not a
but-
car.
That's
Yeah.
So it's theoretical in the same sense that nuclear cars are theoretical.
Okay,
We don't
so-
have a need for it yet.
So we don't have a
But,
fucking.
like-
Well, what
flux
the fuck does a
capacitor.
flux capacitor do? What's the
Yeah.
theoretical use
It's
for it?
it's essentially a small atomic accelerator.
But it won't.
Oh.
It
Yeah.
won't send you back in time, though.
No. It won't.
Well, not that we know of, because I mean, technically, to go backwards in time, we have to travel faster than the speed of light.
That's what they say.
That is
Yeah.
what they say.
But who knows?
I
Until
don't.
someone's gone back in time.
We have to go back. Well, I know that time travel doesn't exist in at least the linear sense, where we can go back and interact with the same timeline. because I haven't come
Oh,
back in
man.
time to make out with myself yet.
Are we going to go down the theoretical physics in this podcast?
Absolutely
I really
not.
want to.
I do too, because and actually,
Not on this episode. This has to be a different episode.
okay, well, but like,
No, fuck you. Like, this is a lot to get into. You know it's a bag of fish.
it's
We
a
have
huge
to-
bag of fish.
we
When
have
this
to-
conversation happens, I better be here.
I'm
well,
more than okay with
I'm okay
getting
with
you
that
here.
too. Yeah, because like, yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, we won't get into it.
Yeah, I see you trying to say things. No,
I know.
don't.
I'm
Stop
trying
yourself.
not to. I'm trying not to, but I enjoy this topic.
Me too. But at
Because
the
I'm
same,
a fucking nerd.
we're so out of our depth too. We're just gonna sound like idiots, but it's gonna be fun.
No, I've watched a lot of Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Neil
like the
deGrasse.
show that Drake was on whenever he was a kid. deGrasse.
deGrasse Tyson. How do
Neil
you spell-
deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse. Is that how you pronounce it? Neil
yes.
deGrasse.
Yes,
Neil,
there's,
that
it's
guy.
not Degrassi.
Well, how do you pronounce it?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse.
Yeah.
It's deGrasse.
It's like whenever you're getting on your knees
and you're
in-
mowing deGrasse.
in the lawn. Yes,
Getting on your knees in the lawn.
Neil
Ah.
deGrasse.
Okay.